Thank you all for joining us for this special meeting on this bright, sunny, warm spring day. Um, w- we've got someone, I think Steve Miller is excused. Otherwise, we have a quorum of the board with us to review a single issue, which is the proposed tuition and fees for the academic year of 2026 and 27. I appreciate the time you all have spent with the administration and their willingness of time to understand and the tuition increases, its purposes and uses, and the underlying rationale for them, and the work you've done there, and for attending the Truth and Tuition webinar that we had for the public as well. So, I'm going to invite Tony Wagner, our CFO, to present the proposed tuition and fees for the academic year 2026-27.
Thank you, Chair Eccles. And Rob, I believe you're going to pull up the presentation.
1 second, Tony.
Thank you, Rob.
All right. Can
Thank you, Rob.
Can you?
As Chair Eccles mentioned, we are gathered to discuss the proposed tuition increases for 2026, 2027. So Rob, if you'll advance to the next slide.
It's going to be a little bit of a delay.
Okay. With respect to our student fees, there's a general student fee advisory board. It is led by a majority of students, 5 students, 4 staff. It's co-chaired by the ASUU student body president, Alex Rose, and also by the AVP for Budget and Finance, Kimmy Adamson. It oversees the process to establish, revise, maintain, repeal student fees, and make recommendations to the Board of Trustees. It reviewed all of the 10 existing fees, and no new fees were requested. Please advance, Rob. As you can see, the 10 existing fees are laid out here. I won't go through each one of them. As we mentioned, no new fees were requested and no additional fee increases were requested. We are actually recommending an approximately 10% reduction in the computing fee. This is the result of an analysis of current expenditures and of some reserve funds that are available to them. And so the recommendation for 2026-27 is to keep all of the existing fees the same, except we are requesting reducing the computing fee, and we are not requesting any new fees. Next slide, please. The tuition increase request for our academic year 2026-27 is 3.5%. And if you'll advance to the next slide, Rob, I can explain that.
Oops.
There's actually one undergraduate in-person differential that's being requested. This is actually we're eliminating a fee, and we're actually replacing that fee as a tuition differential. So this particular undergraduate differential is really is net negative or net neutral to the students, but it is in the architecture program. It is an undergraduate differential, and that is being requested as well. Next slide, please. With respect to the graduate program, there are 4 requests that we are making. You can see that the first one is for business. It's an online and in-person program, the Masters of Business Creation. You can see the request for the increase. And this is a result of a number of factors that have been analyzed, student demand, and improvements to the program that are being requested. The following requests are for an education in-person program, an engineering online program, a health hybrid program. Both the engineering and health program are new graduate differentials. So there's not an existing rate. And those have been established, analyzing the market, student demand, needs for, program investment and things like that. So there are four graduate differentials that are also being requested. Next slide, please. How will the increases be used to support student success and completion rates? Cover the university's required legislative match, and I'll mention a little bit about that with respect to compensation increases, benefits, and insurance and liabilities. They're also going to address faculty promotions and retention, support student services, and just respond to any unforeseen things that could happen in an inflationary environment. Next slide, please. So we are asking for approval of these today, and we will, if we receive the board's endorsement, we will be going to the Utah Board of Higher Education next week to do the same. And I think we have one more slide, Rob, that will actually explain the
Yeah,
tuition increase in a little bit
apologies,
more detail.
Tony. I know you wanted this up front. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. It's fine. I'm just glad it's here. Um, So, with respect to the tuition increase, here's the way it breaks down. The state has mandated a 2.5% compensation increase. And so the state funds approximately 75% of that, and we fund approximately 25% of that with tuition. And the same is true with the next three lines for health and dental insurance, internal service funds, and Senate Bill 8 compensation adjustments. These are all things that are mandated from the state for us to cover with tuition. So approximately 1.51% of the 3.5% tuition increase will be used to cover those mandates. The remainder will be used to cover faculty salary adjustments for inflation, promotion, and retention. So you can see that is $9.6 million in total. The 3.5% increase is $16.9 million. Rob, you can advance to the next slide.
That's it.
And that is the request, and we'd be happy to answer any questions.
I'm not seeing any hands, so
Quick
seeing.
question. Do you expect any pushback from the Board of Higher Ed?
That's a great question. There has been collaboration as we've worked through this process to make the request to our Board of Trustees. So they know what we're going to request, and we've consulted them on that. But we'll have to see. Once we present it at the board, we'll see what their response is.
Can you tell me the average cost for a student to graduate from the University of Utah? Average, because I know individual departments are maybe different.
The total average cost, that's a number that Kathy, I'll have to look up, but I will get it back to you.
Thank you.
I see a hand from Alex, and I'm glad to hear from our student always about our tuition and fee increases.
Yes, thank you, Katie. I appreciate it. Tony, I just had a quick question. So, going back to the beginning of your presentation with the differentials, and I think most students definitely understand the need for them and why they may change or be adjusted based on department or program that they're a part of. But I was curious if you could explain further why the only one that like kind of stood out to me was the MBC, the Master of Business Creation, which had a pretty significant increase. And just so maybe us as students can understand like why they felt a need to increase that differential
Yeah,
by significant.
Tony, I could maybe speak to that. So,
Yeah, go ahead, Troy. Thank you.
hi, thanks, Alex. Yeah, so the Masters of Business Creation program we started about 7 years ago. It was a new degree that we created to help individuals who have started companies build and grow their companies in a different format and a different structure. And then we launched an online version of it 3 years into it. And so this is what we found is there's a couple of things. One, there's significant demand out there, so that program's growing. So we priced it initially very, very low with heavy scholarships to see what the attractiveness of it would be. And as we've grown the program, there's demand out there, but also as we've received feedback from the company founders that have been enrolled in the online program, they've asked for more support and more interaction from faculty. So this is to enhance that request from students that are enrolled in that program, and realize these are people that have started companies and are running businesses. About 90% of the companies that the founders enrolled the businesses have revenue, so they're actually able to support the tuition out of this. And so it's a growing program. We launched a cohort in Ghana and in Africa a few years ago, and we're launching one in Europe this year. So it's expanding and it's growing. It has great demand out there. So it's got a good support, and I think it'll enhance the program. And we'll see, it shouldn't blunt the demand. We think there's pricing elasticity out there for it as it's structured right now.
Thank you, Troy.
Any other questions or thoughts?
Chair Eccles, I just want to recognize and thank the administration for making themselves available with questions over the last few days. I've had a number of constructive conversations and all my questions are answered. Thank you.
Thank you. See no other questions. Any comments? Alex, I know you had an opportunity to ask some questions, but do you have any other comments from the student side?
Yeah, I guess the only comment I had is more just for the student fees themselves. As you know, as Tony mentioned, I co-chair with Kimmy the Student Fee Advisory Board, and just want you all to understand and just I'll send out a recommendation like a PDF as well you can read through on some of our decision making. But really, we just felt like last year there was a lot of pretty significant changes to the student fees, and that they were pretty well, researched, and so we kind of wanted to support what they had done last year and maintain most of those fees, and that's why there weren't too many changes this year. And then in my recommendation, it kind of dives further in why the computing fee we as a board felt like should be just decreased just a little bit, and that had a lot of student backing with it as well. So I encourage you all to read through that recommendation and why most of those fees were recommended to be maintained as is.
Right. Well, thank you very much. Other for motion to approve the proposed tuition and fees for 2026-27 academic year.
So moved.
Thank you, Bassam. A second?
Second,
Let's see. Who was that?
Jamie.
Oh, Jamie, thank you. A second from Jamie. We have a motion and a second to approve the proposed tuition for the 2026-27 academic year. Any discussion on the question? If not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Seeing none, thank you. The motion passes. Is there a motion now to approve the proposed student fees for the 26-27 academic year?
So moved.
Thank
Second.
you, Sam, for the motion. Was that Jamie again?
Randy.
Randy, thank you. It's very hard to see the square light up here. We have a motion and second to approve the proposed student fees for the 26-27 year. Any debate or discussion on the question? Seeing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Seeing none, that motion passes. I think that we had a single issue meeting. Appreciate all of your time this morning. I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I heard Kurt. Thank you for the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second. It's Christina.
Thank you, Christina. All in favor, say aye.
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 The meeting stands adjourned, and our next regularly scheduled meeting is, of course, Tuesday, April 14th. So we look forward to seeing you there.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Katie.
Thanks, Alex, for
you.
your efforts
Thank you,
too.
everyone.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.